And now, Virginia This Morning on CBS 6.
And good morning to you. Thanks for joining us here on this last day of August for our Monday edition of Virginia This Morning. I'm Cheryl Miller. Just 4 months now left in this year. Perfect time to start thinking about taxes, and you should, and how to lessen what you'll owe for 2015. Locally based financial expert J.B. Bryan is back with us today to pass along some tips to help us do just that. Hi, J.B.
Hey, Cheryl.
Big topic. And,
Yes.
and we were just mentioning in the tease that
Yes.
today is a big deadline for some things. What is today the deadline for?
And it's a really big deal because about 2 million people that did get the subsidies for their health care expenses. So they subsidize their health care expenses based on income.
So this was under the Affordable Care Act.
But the IRS has sent out letters to almost 2 million people saying you still haven't filed your tax return proving that income. You haven't proved that you qualify for that subsidy. So I'm glad that we're talking about this today because I'm hoping that someone out there will say, I have to get that done. It's today the 31st, I think it is.
Today is the 31st
so this
of
is
August,
it.
yeah. Now
this is it.
Because some people don't file taxes at all because they don't have to, but if they got this subsidy, they have to file taxes.
Yes, and a lot of people at home have been doing the 1040 EZ. You cannot use that form. There's extra documentation to record that you did get that subsidy. So you need to, it's simple, but you just have to sit down and do it. You have to, and at this point, it's best to go online and use one of the online tax prep services, and they'll walk you all the way through the process. But that's your best option at this point because according to the IRS information, it says that they will accept the online information, and it's really important because at the end of the year, you want to do an automatic renewal. And if you're not in the system that you did qualify, you're going to bump yourself out. You're going to have a lot more paperwork and a lot more hassle if you don't do that today. So I hope that it will help you, and I wish that there's someone that was not in that situation. But the good thing is that it's early in the morning. You have till midnight. Go and get it done.
You might need some help because this is the second year of the Affordable Care Act, so this may have affected people for their 2014 taxes as well.
That's who we're talking about.
Oh, okay, the 2014.
That's who we're talking about.
2015, you still have time.
That's right. 2 million people from last year still haven't done last year's tax return.
So they may have done their taxes but filed the wrong form and not put the information in.
They might not have done that form, true. So if you received a letter that says it's like a 8,000 blah, blah, blah number for that particular subsidy, do that form. But we're talking about people that have not done their 2014 return at all.
So this is not
Sure.
junk mail if you got that letter. You need to go get it.
Not at all. This is real. This
Okay.
is real, and it'll make your life very complicated because based on what you said for last year, you're getting it again this year. So if you want to get it again next year, so you're getting really into a bad pattern. You have to sit down today and get that return for last year done today.
Could you potentially get bumped out of the system?
You will be.
You will get bumped out of
They
the
have
system.
no choice. You
Okay.
will be bumped out. You're going to have to work your way back in through paperwork. Yes.
We talked about junk mail scams. There are a lot of tax scams out there. Give us an idea what we should be looking out for.
Last year was recorded as the biggest year for the IRS on telephone scams. And now with what we just discussed, tax experts estimate that it's going to be even bigger this year because of people confused about the health care subsidies and how to file the paperwork. Please make sure that you're very, very careful on who you're talking to. Try to avoid doing anything on the telephone unless you call the IRS directly and ask them about it. But it's anticipated that it's going to be an even bigger year, and be careful. Be careful and go down to the IRS yourself and get personal help, or call them directly and get help, or get assistance, or talk with a tax advisor, especially get personal assistance on how to file these forms.
And in particular, with this deadline passing, you may want to watch out for scams for assistance for next year or this year.
Yes. Yeah, well, yes, definitely. Yeah. And we're talking about a record year last year. So as we're approaching the returns for 2015, they're anticipating it being even worse.
All right.
Because you're going to have people who didn't watch today, who still haven't done the forms for last year.
That deadline.
So, yes.
There's a note here to ask you about virtual currency. I've never heard of it. What is virtual currency, JB?
It was a surprise to me also that it's become very popular. The most popular virtual currency is called Bitcoin. And
I have heard of it. I don't know what it
that's
is, but
right.
I've heard of it.
And people are actually doing transactions on the internet using Bitcoin as a way to transfer property and purchase things. But the interesting thing is it is not a currency in any area or any jurisdiction is not acknowledging it as a form of currency, but the IRS has decided that Bitcoin and the virtual currency is a property. And if you are paid in compensation through virtual currency, then you actually have to pay all of the taxes. You have to pay federal income taxes on that property, and all of your Social Security and Medicare, all of the taxes have to be done, and you have to be issued a W-2. So it is not a way to get around paying income taxes.
And people might have thought this was a way of getting around it because it's virtual, so maybe they'll virtually pay the taxes.
Yeah, they better.
As we said, we've got 4 months left in the year, but now really is the important time to start gathering all this information so nothing slips through the cracks.
And it's a perfect time, because if we were talking about this in November, we wouldn't even be able to discuss helping on today, and making sure that you take care of your health care information. But we have to plan. Taxes require planning. As we were talking, I said a good tax preparer is a good tax planner. And as financial advisors, we should assist you in preparing for your tax season. And it's not in January, it's now.
Or it's January for next year.
That's right, it's January. You're planning for 2017. There you go. Want to be like Cheryl?
Yeah, planning ahead. Thank you, JB Bryan, for some great information. JB offers free money seminars every Wednesday at noon. Pre-registration is required if you'd like to get a link for more information and join JB at one of our seminars. Just go to our website at WTVR.com/VTM.